Good morning, you're all very welcome to the stream here on YouTube this evening. Hope you're all doing well after the Christmas. So we're starting off here at Dublin, or in Weston Aerodrome in west of Dublin. We're then going to take off, head out towards the beautiful west coast of Galway before turning to the north, heading up along the west coastline and heading to Donegal, taking in some of the scenes. We are live weather this evening, so do expect it to be a little bit cold along the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to start up right here at Weston, and then taxi out to the main runway, and then we're going to depart to the west. So stick with me. If you want to join me on the multiplayer, please do so. I'll stick my name into the chat in just a couple of moments. And before we depart, we just make sure that our parking brake is set. And once it's set, then we're going to start our engines. And we have one good start here in the Mooney. We'll then switch on all of our avionics, our alternator, and get some lights sorted as well. So we're going to climb up to about 5,000 feet this evening, on the way down to Galway, and then heading north once again. Before we do that though, let me get our switches set up before we go. Pop our defroster on, cabin heat and some fresh air as well. It does help if we hit any icing conditions. It will just help to get the windscreen de-iced. We use some of the ATC built into the sim. We're not going to be particularly in controlled airspace once we depart. It's not a flight plan, so we are flying VF4, so we will do it along the way and see how we get along.
Ground Echo India, Charlie Alpha Charlie with Quebec request taxi for takeoff departing straight out. Echo India, Charlie Alpha Charlie taxi to and hold short of runway 25 via taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 122.4 when ready.
So we're going off of runway 25 at Weston.
Taxi to and hold short runway 25 via taxiway Alpha Charlie.
Switch our transponder on, and we'll continue our taxi out. Let's just get a quick listen to the weather before we depart.
Echo India Whiskey Tango Airport information, Quebec 1000 Zulu. Wind 215 at 7. Visibility 6. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,200 feet, few clouds at 4,700 feet, few clouds at 11,400 feet. Temperature -2. Dew point 10. Altimeter tree 0.12. Visual runway 25 in use. Landing and departing runway 25. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft...
Okay, so we have the weather, and we're now going to continue out to the runway 25 here in Weston. We're going to depart straight out to the west. We're going to climb, initially as I said, we're going to climb to 5,000 feet for the flight, but however, just because of that cloud, until we can find a break in it, we're going to climb up to about 3,500 feet, and then see where we can go from there. We've got plenty of fuel for the flight, and then with the Mooney as well, we're going to have to alter between our tanks just to balance them out. Normally I would do a run-up, but on today's flight, we're just going to depart straight out. Call up the tower, request our clearance to depart. get some flaps set for departure, set them for takeoff flap, and then as soon as we get our clearance, we'll be good to go. Tomorrow night's stream, we plan to stream live from VATSIM, so if you do have any questions about VATSIM, don't be afraid to pop them into the box below.
Tower Echo
And we'll
India.
also
Charlie Alpha, Charlie ready at
answer them
runway
as best as we
25
can.
departing straight out.
Echo India, Charlie Alpha, Charlie cleared for takeoff runway 25 straight out, departure approved.
Okay, so now that we have our clearance, we'll confirm that. And we're going to taxi out onto the active here at
Cleared
runway
for
25,
takeoff,
making
runway
sure that it
25,
is
Charlie
clear. We
Alpha,
are in the
Charlie.
multiplayer, so if you do want to join, please feel free to join as well. Get rid of the ATC menu as we get ready to depart from Weston. So switching on our strobes and our landing light, and off we go. Airspeed is climbing, just reaching 60 knots. We're going to start our rotation and climb out of Weston. Ooh, and a stall horn on departure. Gear is coming up. Continue our climb. Once we reach 400 feet, we'll start our turn out over the reservoir as we do in real life, just for noise abatement, and then retract our flaps in just a moment as we climb out through 700 feet. That is the flaps coming up as well. Now that we're clear of the neighbours, going to make a left-hand turn, and now start on our way to Galway. As we go straight into some cloud, 2,500 feet, bringing the power back. She's going to continue the climb 2,000. See where we can navigate from. We can turn back onto our heading. Get out of this cloud, see where we are.
Charlie Alpha, Charlie, you are leaving my airspace, frequency change approved.
And we can't see it on the flight. There we go, we're just breaking out of the cloud now. Get some automation in here as well, and engage our autopilot. Once we level out, we'll start maintaining our turn back to the
Charlie
west.
Alpha, Charlie acknowledge, last transmission.
We'll acknowledge the controllers. Actually, perfect time to climb up to 3,500
Tower Echo
feet.
India. Charlie Alpha, Charlie frequency change.
We'll tune to Baldonnel in just a moment, but first we'll continue our climb out. That's the aircraft starting its climb. And now we'll contact Baldonnel 122.0. I'm also going to start to tune in some navigation equipment as we go along. And then we know exactly where we're going. So we're going to request the Class C transition, Charlie airspace.
Baldonnel approach Echo India. Charlie Alpha, Charlie
Airspeed
airside 6
back,
miles
don't
west of
overspeed
Echo India,
either.
Whiskey Tango 2,900 feet. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace. Echo India, Charlie Alpha, Charlie Baldonnel approach. Squawk tree.
On the squawk, 3333. Nice easy squawk across the way.
Charlie Alpha, Charlie radar contact 7 miles southwest of Echo India, Mike Alpha, 3,100 feet. Cleared through Charlie airspace, Charlie
3,500.
Alpha,
So we
Charlie.
get above this cloud. Once we're above this cloud, we're going to then continue our course to Galway. Flying the Mooney M20R from Coronado tonight. It's a great little aircraft, one of my favourites in the sim. Let's take a look at this beautiful aircraft before we continue on. Get rid of our cameras. Oh, there's crazy weather out there today. Let's keep the running lights on. Keep the windows up. What a beautiful aircraft indeed. So as we leave Dublin, Eden Derry is on the nose. Not that we can see it at the moment, but hopefully we should see it soon. We can actually climb a little bit higher, get out of this weather. We're going to go to 4,500 feet. We're going to arm that, and we're going to continue our climb as well. Coming back on course as we do so. Coming to course 260 for the heading. That will bring us just over Eden Derry as we continue our trip down as we start to ice up. Not that we want to ice up, we want to get rid of that ice, which hopefully when we get above this cloud we should be able to do so as well. Running speed on at about 1,000 feet a minute, get us above this icing conditions, and then hopefully we'll thaw the aircraft out as we go along. Not picking up any ice on the wings just yet. Oh, we have picked up ice on the wings. Not a very good sign as we get above 4,000 feet. Coming up onto 5, we'll start to level out our... There we go. We'll start to level out at 4,500 feet. Hopefully we're above the cloud. If we are, then we'll start to de-ice the aircraft as we go along. Unfortunately, the Mooney does not have any de-icing systems on board, but we do hope that we will lose that ice as we're flying along. We're heading 267 degrees. We're going to start to tune into some of the navigation points along the way. So I'm going to tune in initially on the Donegal VOR. That way we know that we're outbound and away from Donegal and West and come up another 1,000 feet. Try and get above this weather.
Charlie Alpha, Charlie, contact Dublin approach on
I'm going to
121.
contact Dublin 121.1. As we tune in that frequency
121.1 for
in our
Charlie Alpha,
radios.
Charlie.
Swap over to Dublin approach 121.1, and then we'll continue on our course to Galway. Contact Dublin.
Dublin approach Echo India. Charlie Alpha, Charlie, 5,000 feet. Echo India. Charlie Alpha, Charlie,
Our
Dublin
new
approach.
pressure setting
US land.
3009, given by the tower or by the centre. So we're looking on our radios 115.8. We're looking to tune into Baldon's VOR, and we know that we're on the outbound leg.
Charlie Alpha, Charlie, contact Shannon Center on 132.15.
Also tuning into Shannon's airspace 132.
Going to 132.15, Charlie Alpha, Charlie. Charlie Alpha Charlie 5,400 feet. Echo India, Charlie Alpha Charlie Shannon Center, continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.09er.
So yeah, even though we have the ice at the moment, we're going to lose that ice shortly. We're going to bring the power back just a little bit, and we're going to cruise our way to Galway. Approximately 268. So our ETA to Galway, approximately 20 minutes. From there, we're going to then fly out over towards Gerard, onwards up then to Clifton. From Clifton, we'll go by Louisburg, continuing north towards Belmullet. From Belmullet, we're then once again turning to the northeast and heading for Donegal. That ice in just a moment as well. It is starting to thin out. We've lost some of the ice that was on the wing. It's not as severe as it once was. Again, unfortunately, it is quite cloudy on the live weather. I was hoping that we'd be able to see a little bit more as we travelled west. Back onto our track that we've selected. Coming to a heading of 295, going to bring us back onto our navigation tracks all the way to Galway. We're now in the Midlands. We're heading towards Tullamore. Tullamore will be coming up in a few miles' time, just up below us on our left wing. Do you ever get to visit Tullamore? It is well worth the visit. Lovely along the canal as well. Beautiful area of Ireland. and that will bring us then back on a track towards Shannon, should we require it. radios. They were meant to fix that along the way. 3.3. Slowly starting to come off the windscreen. We're also losing it along our wing as well. Tomorrow night's stream we're also going to put on to we're going to use the Airbus A320 by fly-by-wire. We use that. Might head over on a short flight to the UK, over to maybe Gatwick or Heathrow tomorrow night. Making sure everything is correct as we do so. Once again, beautiful view as we try to water. So as we pass Clara, coming up just below us on our right wing, the motorway that you see in the distance is the M6, which will actually bring us all the way to Galway. Beautiful day. Cold but beautiful. A little bit of ice up on the wings as well, which we hope to lose as we approach Galway. When we reach Galway, I think what we'll do is we'll do a touch and go down at their runway before we actually continue our flight onto Donegal. So as you can see that we are using our left tank at the moment for the cruise. Once we get in down to about 30 gallons on the left tank, we'll then swap over to our right tank for the remainder of the flight. Keep our tanks balanced, and that way we're not going to run into difficulties. Tune into our nearest field, see if we can pick up some weather. Never mind, there's none near us at the moment. How's that ice looking? It is still a little bit too strong in the effects. All the way to the tip of the wing. Okay. Coming up in just a couple of miles, about 20 miles from where we are, is Ballinasloe, County Galway. Beautiful scenery provided by Bing Maps. Also, on the next update, which is coming sometime this January. I think it's between January 20th. It'll also be updating the UK and hopefully Ireland as well. As I said, you can see that ice now starting to clear off the windscreen, slowly melting. But I do admit that it is a beautiful effect that they've included in the simulator this time. Track back on. Where are we? We still want to be heading west 268, I think was the last one I set up. .267, sorry, correction. I think tuning into Knock at the Connacht Fjord is more appropriate for where we are right now. I'm going to tune over there 117.4, and then we'll be able to continue tracking along. .4 is now in our active viewer and receiving it. And we're currently tracking on a track of 266. Heading 280, but a track that we want is 266. Currently 45 miles from Knock. Should we need to divert to Knock, we'll head directly there. So once again, the M6 motorway just off our right wing. I know we can't see it through the cloud at the moment, but we'll track that all the way to Galway before making a right turn to go north, heading to Donegal. Gonna swap over our tanks. Gonna swap over to our right tank, just so we're starting to take the fuel from our right tank and balance the aircraft out as well. Ballinasloe is coming up on our right wing as well. And as we come by Ballinasloe, we're still just looking around. Off our right, don't have ground contact just yet. continue along the M6 motorway towards Galway, heading to Oranmore. Once we reach the Galway airport at Oranmore, we're then going to make start making our descent from Athenry. Once we become visual, we'll do a touch and go at the airport at Galway before turning north towards Donegal. Got good airspeed and good time, good altitude of 5,500 feet along the way as well. Other really good YouTube channels to take a look out for is Two Tone Murphy, great Irish YouTuber, also covering Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. That ice nicely clearing up as well. Beautiful day for flying once you got above the clouds. Absolutely stunning. The M6 motorway directly below us. I know we can't see it at the moment, but once again, if you ever get a chance to come visit Ireland and you go to visit Galway, you're going to be along this motorway all of the way. Just scanning our instruments, making sure that everything is normal for this flight along the way, and everything is good. Chilly -8 degrees Celsius as we head to Galway. We should be landing in Galway in approximately 10 minutes. Well, touch and go more so at Galway in about 10 minutes. Once we do that, we're going to depart once again, heading back north towards Donegal, where we'll be doing a complete full stop landing. So as I said earlier, what I'm flying tonight is the Coronado Mooney M20R. It did have its flaws in the beginning, but they've done an amazing job with this aircraft. As you can see, stunning interior, passenger cabin as well, absolutely beautiful. Handles just like the real aircraft. I have a few hours in this real or in the M20s, and they're absolutely stunning. Great little forgiving aircraft. If you want something a little bit faster, this is one of the top of the line aircraft in the sim if you enjoy general aviation flying. If not, if you prefer the airliners, that's okay as well. This is a great kind of, even though it's small, great kind of mix of the two. It's not as advanced as the airliners, but that's what we like about the charm of the Mooney M20. Still is not ice, it's starting to really thin off now, not affecting us much at all. As we descend though, in a couple of moments towards Galway, this will really start to shake off the wings. We've lost the wing ice, it's now just the windscreen. We have the demister on, we have the cabin temperature on and warm, so hopefully we will lose this ice. Athenry, just off the nose, about 2 miles. Can't see it. Actually, no, we can't see it at the moment. Thought we could, but we'll shortly be descending into Galway Airport. We're actually going to start our descent now down to about 3,500 feet. Pull the power back slightly so we do not overspeed our aircraft. As I said earlier, the Mooney is a little bit faster. It likes to keep its speed up. We've powered back. We're still maintaining about 2,200 RPM on the prop, but we've pulled our power right out on the descent. Oop, and there we have our landing gear warning. But we are out at idle. Gonna descend 3,000. Try and become visual with the runway. It should be about 10 miles from us as we start our approach. Come down to 2,000 feet. We can shave that off about 1,000 feet a minute. Galway Airport is coming up on the right hand side, so we're going to have to start making our approach towards Galway. Oops, did not mean to zoom out there. So coming north 330 degrees as we start our descent to Galway. As we become visible with the ground, we're going to let them know as well. We're going to tune into the traffic at Galway. Let them know that we're coming in for a touch and go. As I said, tomorrow night we're going to be on VATSIM.
Galway Tower, Echo India. Charlie Alpha, Charlie,
And then we will be able to talk to the controllers as well.
Echo India, Charlie Alpha, Charlie, Galway Tower. Make straight and runway 26. Altimeter 30.15 when 345 to 26.
So we're going straight in to runway 26. They've given us a new altimeter setting of 3015, which we already have. And then once we're going to line up for the approach, we're going to probably overfly the airport first and make a right-hand pattern into the field. Get rid of the...
Charlie Alpha, Charlie, clear touch and go left traffic runway 26.
So they're saying left traffic to us. I'm going to put the speed brakes out just to help slow us down just that little bit more. Going to come north until we become visual with the field.
Charlie Alpha, Charlie, acknowledge last transmission.
And there's the runway just off the left wing, off in the distance. Perfect. So we'll start our approach in there in just a moment. 2,500 feet. Going to continue our descent down to 1,500 feet. It should be... So we've armed it there. Going to start turning on our landing lights and also bringing our gear down just as we get into our flaps territory as well on the speed. So flaps territory, we can bring in 1 notch of flaps. We're also going to bring our landing gear down as well, add a little bit of power just to make sure that we are level. That's the autopilot going off. making my left hand turn, become visual with the runway. Propeller has gone to full position. Our mixture coming back into Rich and making our turn for a long final into Galway Airport. Once we touch and go at Galway, we'll then go back up, climb back out to about 5,000 feet, and then we'll be inbound to to Donegal. As I said, the one thing with this aircraft, it likes its speed. So that is the air brake or speed brakes just back in to help bring down the speed. The M6 just off our left wing as well. So 1,000 feet, we're going to maintain level here. Bring our flaps in for approach. Retrim the aircraft, straighten her out a little bit. Continue our descent in for the runway. Landing light is on. Flaps are on approach. We're 30 degrees of flaps. We are visual lined up with the runway. A little bit of a crosswind coming in from the north. We're about 1 minute out from landing. Flaps are going to come to full. We're good on the glide slope, 2 red, 2 white on the PAPI lights. Continuing our approach down to the runway. Bit of chop as we come down through 400 feet. A little bit low, 3 reds. We'll continue our approach. Coming back onto glide slope. Just using the speed to control that glide as well. It is an aircraft that likes to be on the numbers. So what I mean by that is it likes to be on its speed. So we're a little bit fast, a little bit low, but other than that we are okay. As we approach the runway, the VASI does, or the PAPI lights do become a little bit inaccurate, but we are cruising down to the numbers. Bit of a flare, bit of a float, and we are down. Not the best landing, but any landing we can walk away from is a good one. Tracting the flaps back to takeoff configuration. We're going to add the power back in and climb out, departing now for Galway, or for Donegal. Not going to go back to automatics just yet, but we are going to set up our altitude of, ooh, a little bit too high, at 5,500 feet, in case we need it. Going to cancel our landing clearance, our landing, or touch and go even. Galway just straight ahead as well. We've lost all that ice as planned. Going to make a small left-hand turn out over the bay, where we're going to fly along. That's the flaps coming up as well. We're going to go fly towards Salt Hill. Tune back in to Shannon as well.
Shannon Center, Echo India. Charlie Alpha Charlie is type 2 miles west of Galway. Request flight following.
Echo India, Charlie Alpha Charlie, Shannon Center.
Got a new squawk from Shannon, 1202.
Charlie Alpha Charlie, radar contact 3 miles southwest of Galway, 1,200 feet. Altimeter 30.16.
3016 on our altimeter, which we will now tune in. 3016. That's 18, 7 and 16. We'll acknowledge our radar contact while we fly out and view Salt Hill as we go along. As we look out, Galway City, beautiful city, great cathedral as well if you are out this neck of the woods. the little town there of Claddagh within Galway that you see off the right wing as we continue our climb. Can also see Salt Hill coming up in just a couple of moments, directly below the aircraft. We're still climbing up. Salt Hill now becoming available on our, being able to see on our right wing. What a beautiful day. So we're now going to turn out in just a couple of minutes, head up towards Knock, then we will head, as we're in the clouds. Means only one thing, we're going to ice up in a moment. So start our climb, get back up above that cloud. What altitude are we at? We're at 3,000, going to go to 5. And we'll head overhead, Knock, towards Donegal. A little bit of ice as we came through the cloud. Oh, the autopilot going back on. Altitude is set to hold. Oops, we want to continue our climb. 5,500. Picked up quite a bit of ice once again, just flying through that little bit of cloud. Down below, Galway Bay. "20 inches of manifold pressure" as I bring the RPM back to about 2,300. So lean that aircraft out just a little bit. And we'll continue our way up to Knock. Going to start making our turn now towards Knock. As we do so, we'll tune into the frequency at Knock on their VOR and pick them up as well as we overfly the airfield. We've already got them tuned in. We're now en route to Knock. Gonna head out, overfly Uachtar Ard as we come along, and then onwards Knock, then Donegal. as we level off now as well at 5,500 feet. As I said earlier, absolutely beautiful day here over Galway as we start to head up towards Knock or Ireland West and then up to Donegal for our approach into Donegal. So we now have quite a strong wind coming in from our left hand side and blowing us off course. So our course we want to fly is north. We're getting pushed off, so we're going to come in to balance that out a little bit. With Gerard coming up on the nose as we head out across Loch Combe. .35 nautical miles out from Knock, and then we'll be inbound back towards Donegal. Scenery of Donegal is absolutely beautiful in the simulator. We'll do a fly pass along the airport initially before landing in. Also going to tune in our ADF to Knock, so we're inbound. As I'm pushing our wrong buttons. Swap our frequencies. Now, there we go, we've picked up the ADF frequency for Knock, so we know exactly where we're headed. Once again, as I said, Knock's approximately 32 miles from us, and then once we're overhead Knock, we'll then be inbound Donegal. Slowly losing that ice that we picked up on our windscreen. Loch Combe overhead or directly below us, and we're now heading towards Knock. So we'll be overhead Knock in approximately 6 minutes, and then en route in, as I said, to Donegal. Beautiful area, highly worth the visit if you're ever in Ireland. As we depart Loch Combe, this is Loch Mask of the left wing, and Ballinrobe coming up just off the left hand side of the nose. So we're still on our altimeter setting, and we contacted channel initially 3016. Knock straight off our nose, or will be off of our nose in just a couple of moments, and then we'll be inbound for our final destination. As I said, Ballinrobe, we're just about to pass it at 5,500 feet. Probably not going to hear us, not going to see us, we're passing in real life. I have been there many times. Even as a child, well worth visiting. Always something to do during the summer holidays. "22 miles to run." We're going to be overhead Knock, and then inbound Donegal. As we get closer, our VOR needle is going to become more sensitive, picking up those signals from that VOR station before we head directly over it. Going to lose the frequency slightly, and then when we do so, we'll pick it up on the far side. So we're burning approximately 11 gallons of fuel per hour. Still got plenty of fuel to get to Donegal. That ice is nearly gone from our windscreen. Means we can look out and see the beautiful scenery at last. Clare Morris coming up as we pass by, heading to Knock. Further out from that is Ballyhaunis. We're tracking inbound at 3.6. That's our course. Just off the nose is Knock. And out beyond on our left wing, you'll also see Westport. Great area if you're interested in the extreme sports, rock climbing, surfing, windsurfing, or even powerboating. Some great places along in Westport that you can go and visit. An absolutely great getaway. Castle Bar, another wonderful area of Ireland. Be on our left wing, or just off our left nose in just a couple of moments. Keep an eye out. Absolutely stunning views to be had. Irish scenery at its best. This is real world weather, as it is currently in Ireland. So broken cloud, beautiful day. Wish we were flying right now, just apart from the COVID restrictions that we have in place, so we can't actually get out to the airfield, or the one that I fly at, which is really unfortunate, because there's lots of places that we'd love to be going. Just seeing it from the air, a little bit of peace of mind.
Charlie Alpha Charlie, contact Shannon Center on 132.15.
So contact Shannon 13215. So acknowledge that and we'll tune it on in.
132.15 Charlie Alpha Charlie.
Swap our frequency, little trick. 3215. Really nice changeover. We'll contact Shannon. Continue our flight following, and wonder will they give us a new altimeter setting.
5,500 feet.
Echo India.
Oh, they did.
Charlie Alpha
3015.
Charlie, Center continue as planned. Altimeter 30.15.
Also request a Class C transition.
Shannon Center Echo India. Charlie Alpha Charlie. Request clearance to transition Charlie airspace.
Echo India. Charlie Alpha Charlie, Shannon Center. Cleared through the Charlie airspace.
So we're clear through their airspace. Going to tune in to the Sligo NDB as well as we pass over. 384 kilohertz. So we've still got 7 miles to run. We'll then swap that frequency over and follow it all the way to Sligo. Once again, absolutely beautiful day. Start to get a little bit bouncy as we pass over through Knox airspace. Start to get a little bit bouncy, but that's to be expected. It is quite windy out there as well. Cloud's starting to move in as well. Other Blair is probably off towards Dublin or back towards Belfast. going to change over our frequency, tune into the Sligo NDB, and be en route to Sligo. It's not picked it up. Oh, now it's just picked it up. Perfect. So we are en route to Sligo. Also, get ready to tune in the Donegal the frequency at Donegal for their NDB, which would be 361. And at least that's ready to go when we get overhead of Donegal, or sorry, of Sligo. That is Swinford that we can see off the left, the back of the left wing. Another great little town. Loads of little pubs in there. Great for kind of afternoon lunch if you're passing by. Always go with the local soup and the bread of the day as well. As we now head towards Sligo. Also going to be, when we depart overhead Sligo, we're heading towards Killybegs. Some great diving locations there as well. Atlantic Ocean. Now heading for Sligo. Tubbercurry off the nose. Passing over Tubbercurry in about 1 minute. And then as we pass over, we out over the Atlantic Ocean towards Sligo. It's getting a little bit bouncy, a little bit windy even at 5,500 feet. So Sligo straight ahead. See if we can see their runway. Not just yet. Once we get overhead Sligo, heading straight then for Donegal. Full stop landing at Donegal, where we'll end our stream for this evening. But we don't go just yet. We've still got about another 20 minutes or so before we have to go. If you are enjoying the content, please don't forget to give a follow, even comment and let me know what you want to see in the comments below. A couple of minutes we'll need to swap from our right fuel tank back to our left, which hopefully, or which will be the one that we'll also be landing on once we reach Donegal. No crazy train spikes in Ireland today. Since the last update, unfortunately, we have had some train spikes along the way. None, luckily enough, today. Let's look at this aircraft once again outside. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's see where we are. Once again, we are flying on live weather. It's really nice and clear out of this direction, but it is a cold one at -8. So we're now just coming overhead of Sligo, inbound Donegal. We'll now swap our frequency off of the ADF here at Sligo, and we'll tune into Donegal. It'll be straight ahead of us. Actually, we'll tune off that now in just a moment once we get overhead. As we also pass Manor Hamilton off to our right hand side. Sligo town that you see off the right wing. Give them a wave. touched the wrong button there. We didn't mean to touch that one. We've just passed overhead of Sligo. We'll now change the frequency to 361, which is Donegal. Not picking it up just yet. We are inbound to Donegal. We'll be overhead Killybegs in just a few minutes. And then we're straight inbound towards Braid Strand and Carrickfinn Beach, right at Donegal Airport. Come left slightly, tracking 220 or 22 degrees. Oh, we got a little bit of drift on, so we'll go to 180 degree or 18 degrees. Right a little bit further, or left a little bit more. As we now leave Sligo behind, heading north towards Donegal. This will be our final landing tonight. And again, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the stream. I'd like to say a big thank you for tuning in as well. Coming off right hand side of the aircraft, the coast over towards Bundoran. Once again, great area for surfing if you're ever in Ireland. Highly recommend going to visit. And also Seal Beach that's down beside there as well, and Ballyshannon coming up. Gallons of fuel in our right tank. Time to swap over to the left. We'll use this one also for landing. Kind of a general rule of thumb while you're flying: if you're ever flying in an aircraft where you manually have to switch your tanks, always land on the tank that you've taken off from. Update our weather just in case there's been any delays, but we have been on live weather the entire time. Just see if there's any changes in that weather as we approach Donegal. We're approximately 12 minutes out. Touching down, well, we said we'd take a look at the beach. We'll overfly the airport initially. Beautiful scenery out here at the west coast of Ireland. The wild Atlantic way. More of that storm that we're getting, or that cold front coming in from the west as well. We've been very lucky with the conditions that we've had today. Not very far out from Donegal. A couple of miles to run. We may as well start to tune in on their frequency. So let's get the frequency for Donegal. So we're going to contact them on 129.8. Let them know of our intentions to land. Also going to listen to their weather.
Donegal Airport information, Kilo 1100 Zulu. Wind 005 at tree 5. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, few clouds at 500 feet, few clouds at 4,000 feet, few clouds at 11,500 feet. Temperature, 4. Dew point, 10.
Okay. Would tune out as we get close. So we're going to tune in. We're going to request our full stop landing.
Donegal Tower Echo India. Charlie Alpha Charlie is tree 1 miles south with Kilo to land.
The only reason we're contacting them now is because we're just about to enter their airspace over Killybegs.
Altimeter tree 0.14, wind 005 at tree 5.
3014 on the altimeter. We've acknowledged our clearance, and we're going straight in. That cloud, so we may as well start our descent. Going to descend initially 4,500 feet before we're inbound for our straight-in approach. We were landing on runway 3, but we'll overfly. We'll take a look, and also pull our power out a little bit as we descend. .500 feet a minute, perfectly acceptable on to descend from 30 miles out. 44 miles out according to the ADF, but we're a little bit closer than that. It's coming slightly right to 150 degree, or 15 degrees. Excuse me. Swap over, or we've swapped over that tank. Now we know that, ooh, good bit of turbulence coming in there as well. That's the throttle coming back in. And we just don't have the runway just yet. Estimating the runway in approximately 10 minutes to landing. So you still have time to get that early morning cup of tea or coffee. And everything's correct. So let's see if we can see the airfield. The airfield should be on our nose, approximately 1 o'clock. So it's just over the headland. Picking up a bit more ice. Also need to start a bit of a further descent down to about 3,000 feet. Don't want that ice coming up as we come into land. Going to descend about 800 feet a minute, pull our power out to idle. We have our demister on. It's not going to help. This aircraft's not rated for ice, unfortunately, but we were near some of those clouds, so unfortunately we will pick up some ice on the way in. We'll lose it as we get in lower though, and in ready to land. As I was saying before though, if you're looking for other Irish YouTubers, Two Tone Murphy is another great Irish flight simmer. I highly recommend tuning in. He has a broadcast most days. If you haven't seen him, absolutely great YouTuber, definitely worth watching. Also, Oz Flight Simmer keep you up to date with all of the latest news and upcoming add-ons as well. Temperature now -3 outside, so we should start losing ice in just a couple of minutes. Power coming back in as we climb back. We overshot through 3,000 feet, so we'll bring the power back in, landing in just a few minutes. So bring that mixture back in. We're about 75. It's perfect for this aircraft, just where it runs, just on its sweet spot. And we're looking out now for the runway. I think that runway should be straight on the nose. Gonna descend further down now, 2,000 feet. Not in a rush on this one, so it'll descend at 500 feet per minute all the way in. Again, coming back to idle. Yep, there we are. So the runway is just off of our right. We've become visual with it. And we're going to turn in slightly. Coming in on runway 3, or was it wrong? Yeah, runway 3. You can see a very small dot in the distance. We're pretty much straight in on it. Right there. Glad we started descending now. So we're approximately 5 nautical miles to land. So good thing we're descending to 2,000 feet. We'll start to slow down. We'll start to get set up as well. That was our landing gear warning as well. Let's tune back into the ATIS just to double check our weather.
Donegal Airport information, Kilo 1100 Zulu. Wind 007 at tree 6. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, few clouds at 600 feet, few clouds at 4,100 feet, few clouds at 11,500 feet. Temperature, 4. 2.10. Altimeter tree 0.
Gonna disconnect and hand fly for the remainder of the way. Prop is coming back to full. Of course, the nose wants to climb as we descend as well. That is the runway straight ahead. We've been blown slightly off course from it. It's about 5 miles ahead. It's the runway, that beautiful beach I was telling you about. A little bit windy on the way in, but we'll make it in. Cue the dramatic music.
Charlie Alpha Charlie cleared to land runway tree. Wind 007 at tree 5.
So we have been cleared to land. The wind is 007 at 3.5, so it's going to be a tricky landing.
Charlie Alpha Charlie.
Runway straight ahead. So that wind is coming in from the right, pushing us off to the left. Start to slow down a little bit. Bring out our landing gear when we get in a little bit closer. And also then we'll start to bring in the flaps as well. That is our speed brake, just to slow us down so we can bring out some flaps. Get it ready for our approach. Nice stable approach on the way in. Landing light can come on. Flaps are in the takeoff position in the first notch. And we are above our glide slope. As we can see on the Pappy, all the lights are white. The saying goes, all white, all right, all red, dead. How gruesome is that? Beautiful scenery up here in Donegal as we make our approach. Bring our landing gear down as well. So our landing light is down. We have the green indication on the floor. We are good. We are landing. Our approach flap coming in. Slowing us down. A little bit of chop as we're coming over, but that's okay. Too red, too white. We're on the approach. We're landing. Flaps coming to full flaps as we slow down, coming across the threshold in just a moment. Looking ahead, straight to the end of the runway, power is coming to idle as we flare coming across the numbers. Bit of a high flare, that's okay. Gonna pop straight down to the runway, ground effect just keeping us going. And we are down. And as you see, that windsock just blowing along, so that was a pretty heavy wind coming from 7 degrees. Been to Donegal numerous times with the Mooney. We can just spin around here on the runway, taxi back to the stand or back to the apron. So keep our landing light on for the moment. We're not clear of the runway. We'll also turn on our taxi light just so we're visible. Our strobes are still on as well. Start to clear up our aircraft though. Flaps are coming all the way in. And also our speed brake. Don't need to acknowledge the tower just yet until we're clear of the runway. Start braking as we come up to the taxiway. A little bit of a slope coming down this, so we will pick up more speed if we hadn't slowed down. As we now turn in for parking.
Charlie Alpha Charlie, turn next taxiway. Charlie Alpha Charlie, contact ground on 129.8.
We'll acknowledge that from the tower.
Going to 129.8, Charlie Alpha Charlie.
We're now going to request our taxi clearance and taxi in for parking.
Donegal ground Echo India. Charlie Alpha Charlie taxi to parking.
Echo India, Charlie Alpha Charlie taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway.
Okay, so we'll acknowledge that. Our guys are just loading in at the moment, so now we actually know where we're going to.
Parking via taxiway Charlie Alpha Charlie.
Because that DHL aircraft is in a parking position, we can't use that one. Most likely we're going to go to the one just off our right. Hopefully we have a marshaller. If not, that's okay, we're small enough to fit in. Landing lights are coming off, strobes are coming off because we're clear of the runway as we taxi in. We overcooked where we're meant to be going. taxi back around so our nose is facing out. Here at Donegal. So we'll set our parking brake. Plenty of fuel still remaining on board. It's our parking brake on. We can now turn off our defrost. Don't need our hot air anymore. Don't need our cold flow anymore. So we can now pull our powers at idle. Now pull out our prop. That's going to slow it down even more. And then to shut down, we need to switch off our nav lights. Pitot heat taxi lights can come off. Our avionics master we switched off, and our alternator as we shut down this aircraft. Master warning can come off, battery can now come off. And our aircraft is facing into the wind as our ignition comes off as well. The prop is still windmilling due to that strong 35 knot crosswind as everything spools down. Bring back up our yoke for a moment. Break up our tablet. The Coronado M20R looks absolutely amazing with everything installed on it. It's not loading anything in for me. This is very strange. This is the first time this has ever happened on me. So we have a pilot, co-pilot. Yeah, we had them in. Ah, we can open our door still. So it's not putting the tow bar in because our prop is still spinning in the wind. That's okay. Get rid of that. Let's go take a look. So that's our cargo door. We can open our own doors as well from the inside of the aircraft. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the flight with me tonight. If you enjoyed the flight, you enjoyed watching the stream, please don't be afraid to follow the channel, like and subscribe, and all of those usual good things. But guys, it's been a pleasure to fly with you. I will hopefully catch you